Hi everyone, hope you're having a good week. I wanted to go over a few practice problems before you jump into your try these problems for today. Your book is going to ask you, if you read the instructions carefully, it's going to ask you to solve the problems in certain ways. For example, you're asked to use the formula from your book, percentage equals rate times base, to find a certain amount, to find the percentage amount for certain problems, and then also to use a proportion to find the same type of percentage. So I wanted to illustrate that here. You should know both methods and you should understand them both. It's your choice later on what appeals to you more, and you can use either one later on. But for now, you need to understand both methods. So for number one, it says use the formula P equals rate times base. So it's a percentage. It's a percentage amount. It's not the percent. It's a percentage amount. Equals rate times base for this amount. So let's make sense of this. We have to put some common sense into this. Let's think of a real example. So 4.9% of 200 might mean something like, let's find what 4.9% of the 200 books in my library. If I said I read 4.9% of them, how many books is that? What percentage is it? So that's what we would be solving for. So 4.9% represents a number, 4.9 out of 100. Well, let's just use that as a decimal. So 4.9 divided by 100 is 0.049. That is our rate, okay? 4.9% is our rate. Now that rate, and remember we have to use it as a decimal because that's the number it represents, is multiplied by our base, our total amount of 200 books. You can also think of it as 4.9% of 200 is translated into a mathematical sentence as whatever number that is, which is 0.049, of multiplying 200. Same thing. So the formula is that, just translating it into a mathematical phrase. So 0.049 times 200 equals 9.8. So in real life, that means, in my example, I have read 9.8 books in my 200 book library, which is pretty sad, not too many. I should read more. Okay, so let's go on to number two. Let's see, it's asking us to use a proportion to find the percentage for number two. Do you see the setup of the 3 1/4% of 16? Now, clearly we can do it in the same way we did number one, but we are illustrating a different method. For proportions, you need to understand this, that a part out of a whole relationship. So 3 1/4% already gives us that. Percents always give us the part out of a whole because that's what a percentage is. So 3 1/4 is the part, 100 is the whole. Now we want to find the equivalent amount out of, this time our whole is 16. So 16 is the whole amount. What is that amount related to 3 1/4%? So we can solve it mathematically by going ahead and making this, making this into an equation. So we do 3 1/4 and we'd multiply both sides by 16 and both sides by 100. So 3 1/4 times 16 will have to be 13 1/4 times 16. I'm going to do the work here. That's going to be 52. So 52 equals 100x. Divide both sides by 100 and we get 52 over 100. Well, 52 over 100 can be reduced. We can divide it by 4, so we can get 13 over 25. So 13/25 is our amount. And that makes sense. It's less than 1. It's a small amount. 3 1/4% of 16 makes sense that it's like less than 1. So that's using proportions. Okay, let's do a fun problem where we're actually applying things in terms of percents and sales and tax. Okay, suppose you found a guitar that you wanted to purchase. It was on sale for 30% off the original price of $300. Sales tax is 6%. How can you find the total price? So we're going to have a discount, and then we're going to add on sales tax. Well, we can do it piece by piece, meaning we can solve it by saying, well, what's my discount going to be? My discount is going to be 30% of 300. Well, 30% of 300 is 0.30 times 300, which is 90. So that's the amount of discount. Discount means we need to subtract it from our total amount, and our sales price would be $210 before we put sales tax on. Well, let's figure out what sales tax is. If we multiply 0.06, so we're finding 6% of 210. 6% of 210 is going to be $12.60. Okay? So $12.60 is the sales tax added to our $210. So in order to get our final price, we need to add the 210 plus $12.60. So our final sales price will be $222.60. So we can do it that way. We're doing it piece by piece and keeping track of our amounts. We can also do it a little bit quicker. So I'm going to solve it one more way. You can do, instead of finding, your discount's going to be 30%. So what are you actually left with? Well, you're left with paying 70% of 300. So you're paying 70% of 300. So you can jump into straight finding 70% of 300, 0.70 times 300. That will give you 210. So right away we know we're paying $210. Well, also with sales tax we can do it. We're going to pay the total price of $210. So we're going to pay 100% plus 6% of $210. So basically we want to find out what's 106% of 210. So we can do 1.06, that's the decimal form of 106%, times 210, and we get directly $222.60. Okay, hopefully this helped, and hopefully you have enough information going forward. Read the directions carefully for the Try These problems. Send me an email if you have any questions. Bye.